Here we go. Live video starting. We are live.
Hello, everybody.
Live. How y'all doing? How are you all? We are 1 minute early. We can't talk about the match for one more minute.
Dang it.
Right. So we got to come up with something else to talk about for 60 seconds.
Talk about this dog.
Let's talk about this dog. This dog. Let me tell you about this dog. This dog is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's spoiled.
He is spoiled.
It's because of his face.
He does have a cute face. He was walking on the table earlier. Hey, Kelly.
He uses kind of side looks like that to get what he wants.
He's pretty good at it. Awesome. Okay, it is 7 now. We can officially begin.
Nice.
Hi, Reese. Cool. So we just wanted to come on tonight and talk a little bit about the match from last weekend. We have a little bit of housekeeping, I'm going to call it, to start out with, and then we're gonna get into the details of the match. So, yeah.
Yeah, basically for anybody who wasn't there, this will be a good chance for you to kind of hear about some of the highlights of the match. And then for anybody who was there who wants to relive it, we're going to go through some of the cool things that happened and some of the lessons we learned and what we plan for the next match.
Yeah. So I want to start out by addressing something that's been going around the community quite a bit this week. Everybody loves drama, right? Especially when it's on the internet. So thanks, Frankie. Frankie's going to make this less painful for me. I've been involved in a lot of discussions around this. I was a firsthand witness to the incident, we'll call it. But I really want to address a couple of rumors because I feel like to the parties involved, things have blown up way more than they probably should have in terms of the situation. So first, some rumors I heard. Or maybe I should just...
Maybe for the people that don't know yet.
Okay, so there was a shooter who finished the match really high up and was walking the prize table. There was a junior shooter that was walking the prize table. They were in a very similar area, one right after the other. The junior shooter picked up a case of ammo off the prize table. The item that the other shooter wanted was taken. So he turned around and he took the ammo from the youth shooter. And, I addressed it in the moment. It wasn't handled properly. And the young gun was, pretty surprised and taken aback. And there was some aftermath. So since then, I've heard rumors of this shooter being intoxicated. That is not the case. We were about 3 feet from each other, and I looked at him right in the eyes, and I can tell you that there was not alcohol involved in the incident. The second thing I heard, I don't believe anyone intended to steal anything from anyone else in this situation. So, there's been a lot of, this person did it for whatever reason. I don't believe that that's the case based on the information I have and the discussions I've had with both parties involved. No one skipped the line. So let me just real quick tell you guys that normally at our matches, for every match previous to this, I've set up the prize table, highest dollar value to lowest dollar value. And I should tell Jason Nedved sorry too, because I made him and then Camden and everyone else who walk all the way around past all the other prizes to get what they wanted, because the prize table was set up backwards. So it was lower dollar value to higher dollar value. This created some confusion and I think a little less than great experience for everyone's behalf.
So we wanted to, first and foremost, apologize for that.
Right.
We're writing this down, underlining it. This will not happen again. So for all of you other people who are in that prize table line and the backwards walk made it difficult for you, which I imagine there's a whole bunch of people who didn't know what to do because you probably had a prize and you could see another one, or you wondered what was downrange or down the line. We apologize for that.
Plus, with 270 people walking. We also made the rule that if you pick it up and walk away with it, it's yours, which further complicated the situation. So again, it was not on purpose that the prizes were set up that way. And the reason why we set that rule was to keep people moving, because we had so many people and it was such a long day, long weekend. So all of that to say, there was some inappropriate behavior. All of that being said, this person has apologized since to the community, and tonight apologized to the youth shooter involved. And all of the people that are involved have put this to bed. And I think that it's time for the rest of the community to do the same. So what I'm going to ask you guys is, let's just let this be. It's a growth opportunity for people. Everyone's made mistakes and handled things differently than they wish they had. The individuals who were directly impacted, the ammunition was returned to the junior shooter. She wants her prize that she ended up taking off the table to go to another young gun. So we're going to make that happen. Everyone in the situation is good. No one has any remorse and all that stuff. So what I'm going to ask of you all as a community is to not let this tear us apart, and start more infighting and more drama for drama's sake. It was an unfortunate incident. The rest of the match, I think, went really well. And I'd like us all to focus on, the positive experiences and other lessons we could learn, because I feel like this lesson's already been learned, if that makes sense. So hopefully you guys agree. And with that said, I think we're ready to move forward. Yeah. Okay. So I think I covered everything on that front. Thanks, Frankie. He gets away with murder. So because it was such a long day, we had so many shooters, it was hot and it was chaotic and crazy. There was some things that I wanted to say at the banquet that I didn't get an opportunity to. So if you guys will bear with me for a minute, and I normally never read speeches ever, but I wrote this out and I just really feel strongly about the words that I wrote. So I'm going to read it to you guys. Please forgive me. It was intended for me to say it at the banquet and there just wasn't enough time. So thank you all so much for being here. This community means the world to us, and we appreciate everyone showing up, from the ROs to the staff and vendors, competitors, and friends and family members. You all are the reason we do what we do, and we appreciate you all being here to participate in growing the sport. Pretty amazing and humbling, and sometimes stressful experience to host the largest rimfire precision rifle match yet to take place in the world. I know it's been a long weekend and everyone is tired, and hopefully full, and hopefully you were. And excited to chat with people new and old. But before we hand the mic over to the NRL admin team to dole out fancy awards, trophies, and prize table walks, we have a few things that we want to cover. So all that being said, first, we really could not have pulled this match off without Amy and Mitch Tromberg. For those who don't know them, Amy and Mitch are dedicated competitors, local match directors, and all about helping out new shooters. For the last year, they've taken incredibly active roles in keeping Justin in check and keeping Ruth sane as we work to make this an unforgettable match. From the food coordination to stage design, prop creation, and being our eyes and ears at the range, these two have put a ton of time into making this event happen, and we can't thank them enough. We know that they love attention, so please blow up their Facebook pages with your appreciation, anyone who is there.
Yes, please help.
Next, we really need to call out all the range officers from the match. These people have all been here since Thursday, early morning or sooner, to help with setup, test the stages, go to the MPS School of ROing, tolerate our insanely high expectations and extremely low wages. We truly could not have made this match special without all of them and their hard work, time away from work and family, and positive attitudes. Please help us thank them for their hard work. So again, if you know, are you made of butter? Yeah, basically. Finally, we really need to give a shout out to some amazing sponsors. So these guys kept you fed and sugared up all weekend long. And we have a whole bunch of them that helped make sure that happened for you guys. Please do us a favor once you've recovered, and please reach out and express your gratitude to the vendors that kept you guys fed all weekend. We really can't keep the sport going without their participation and willingness to be here as part of our community, coming up with new gear that we all have to have, and listening to our feedback on how to make their products even better for the sport that we love. So That being said, and on the note of sponsors, I just really want to iterate that we firmly believe that the participation of sponsors at our events and matches and interacting with our community is a huge opportunity for us to grow the sport and continue to develop new product that helps us accomplish what we want to accomplish. So we're really passionate about that. If you guys can, keep them in mind, reach out to them, let them know what products you love, what products you've seen at these types of events, what you want to see that you haven't seen yet, stuff like that. The sponsors, particularly that we worked with, are phenomenal people and love to hear that feedback. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. So about a couple more things about Mitch and Amy Tromberg. So Mitch's parents, Julie and Doyle, were also there. You probably saw them working their tails off. You probably thought they worked there or something, because I did before I met them. They were instrumental in a lot of the things as well. I believe Julie was the one who painted the barrels to look like pop cans. I believe they helped make some of the other props, like the cheese. So they just did so many things. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even be at Coiland Creek for that match, because it was their idea for us to come out, to take a look at it, and to consider using it for the match. It had never been used for a 22 match prior, so that was just a great idea right there. And then I believe it was also their idea for the Midwest theme concept. So, I mean, if it wasn't for that, we might not have had, such cool ideas for all the stages. So, yeah, just wanted to give them those props as well.
Yeah.
Next thing, what do we have? The weather.
Yes, the weather.
It was looking really bad for, the 10-day forecast was like rain every single day. And then even during setup, it was rain every single day. So everybody was super worried, but we got lucky with the weather. There was a little bit of rain. About the worst thing that happened was there was like a 10-minute storm that came through at the very end of the match. I think there was probably like 4 people on each squad that got screwed over by like a 10-minute storm that came through. But otherwise, like, the weather was just really nice. It was overcast on Saturday, which is not a bad thing when you consider how humid it was. And Sunday we had the sun peeking through, so it was just a great weekend.
Yes, the rain gear trick worked. I like to think it's because everyone packed rain gear. I think 1 or 2 people forgot, but I bought 100 ponchos, and I handed some of those out just to, like, balance it back out. But it was good. You guys have no idea. We put probably at least half, if not close to the same amount of effort into planning that Friday carnival for you guys than we did the actual match. Or at least I probably put more time into that. You put more time into the actual match. But I was like horrified that we were going to be stormed out, like severe weather stormed out. And I was ready to like curl up in a ball and cry about it at one point. So I'm so glad.
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't heard or weren't there, the Friday before we had like a mini expo where we had vendor tents that were set up. So it was kind of like a show feel. There were 20 different vendors there, I believe. And then this range that it was at, Coiland Creek, this place is really nice. They have like a live music, band area. So we kind of incorporated that into this whole Friday Fun Fest deal, where we had music playing from there. There were food trucks. Like, was it 3 different food trucks plus an ice cream truck and a coffee truck?
Yes. Don't forget about the ice cream
So we
truck.
had that. Our brand, Midwest Precision Shooting, had a booth there with our targets. And then we had a sweet side stage area where we had, a firing line, and we had 6 different fun side stages where people could go play for chances to win prizes. I'd say the highlight of the whole thing was the dunk tank.
Yes, Dom commented on the dunk tank. That was my favorite.
Dom was awesome in the dunk tank. He got dunked so many times, and he was having a blast. I thought that was like a really awesome thing for the community, just for everybody to kind of have something really fun to all gather around.
And just so you know, Nate, we literally had a popcorn stand booked, and he messaged me 2 days in advance and was like, hey, it's going to rain and my stuff is not waterproof, so I can't make it. So, yeah. Yeah, Dom was in the water more than the seat. That was awesome. Someone bought up a bunch of the tickets or the tokens for the side stages and happened to hand them out right when Dom was in the dunk tank. I don't know how that happened.
The world will never know. Anything else about Friday?
I don't think so. I think just really, I appreciate all of the participants for bearing with us. It got chaotic a little bit. I think for the most part it ran pretty smooth, but I know there were things like, hey, I was supposed to have this size shirt and I had that size shirt and things like that. And there was just a lot of craziness. There was a lot of stuff. I didn't know where any of my stuff was. I had like 8 different locations where I had things stashed, like the bunkhouse, our house, my car, the registration tent. Like I felt like for the first time ever, I had no idea where any of my things were. So anyway, thank you all for the patience with that.
One of the crazy things that went on Friday was about 10 o'clock in the morning. There was a huge surge of people trying to use the zero range. So I believe that line was probably about 20 yards long, and it probably should have been about 40. So
yep,
that's one thing that we're noting for future matches. Just, I mean, we didn't expect a surge, but might as well be planned and ready for one in case it does happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think we had a plan for Saturday, Sunday morning zero checks to make sure that we had enough room when we knew everyone would be there kind of the same time. And we just weren't anticipating that same situation on Friday. So lesson learned, definitely taking notes on that. Just so everyone knows, we learned a lot from this match. This was our first 2-day match we've ever hosted. Definitely the first event we've hosted with this many people. First time we've added the vendor fair on, and there's exponentially more things involved, even more than I knew it was going to be a lot of work. It's just a different level. So we've got like iteration of the match director handbook version 2 will be coming soon, probably this summer. Brandon said the mag dumps on the Obsidian stage were awesome.
Yeah, we had a spinner, a DM target spinner that we had equipped with a counter so it could count revolutions. We had an Obsidian Arms AR22 that was like clamped into a tripod, and basically they would have to get that thing to spin as many times as possible. And at first we were recording time. Basically, the faster they got it done, the more points they got. And then we quickly learned that wasn't working so well because the average person was like getting the thing going and then they just like mag dump into it, getting whatever hits they got and like getting rid of the ammo as quick as possible. So that was pretty fun to watch. But yeah, there was a long line for that side stage.
Yeah, it was a good one. And the prize was pretty cool for that too. So we had some really sweet prizes. The grand prize for all of them. So for people who weren't there, the way it works or the way we've done it the last couple of years at our side stages is basically you earn tickets for participating. That way, if you pay to play the side stage, you get at least 1 ticket, if not more. You could zero the stage and you still get a ticket. And that way, when we draw a winner, you still have a chance at winning the prize. And in this instance, we had that for all 6 of the side stages. And then we dumped all 6 together to draw 1 grand prize winner for this custom built CZ by Modicam. They donated the CZ, and then MDT donated an ACC Gen 2 chassis for it, and it was a really cool build. So that was kind of fun. That was a new thing that we did this year for the grand prize, so that no matter what you played, you could still get a chance at the grand prize, which was fun.
Yeah, and then on Saturday and Sunday we had a match. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So like I mentioned, the match was Midwest themed. So there were 22 different stages. We had 12 or 13 on every squad. So there was like 270 shooters that shot the match. And every stage had a Midwest theme. So some of the really cool props that were made, the Trombergs made this big 4x4 grid of ports and kind of threw it at an angle, made it look like a fly swatter. We called it mosquito swatter. There was even like a nice looking handle that was coming off the side of it. That was, I think, the second favorite prop. Not to spill
Second favorite stage. Yeah, so we also sent out an after match survey. So for those of you who shot the match or RO'd the match, if you haven't filled out that survey, try and get that done by tomorrow night, if at all possible. We love to take in feedback. Justin handles it better than I do, but he talks me off the ledge because I'm like, oh man, I should have done that different. Anyway, so once I get past that, we really take that into account in our future matches. So that feedback's really important to us.
Yeah, we had a bunch of themed stages. There was one prop that looked like a big block of cheese with holes in it, and the shooters shot through the holes. Just a lot of fun stuff. There was one that the most favorite by far, I think a third of the people in the survey so far have said that this stage was their favorite. It was stage 22, the long Midwest goodbye. So it was basically 4 posts that were spaced out by, I think it was like 13 yards each. So they had to go to the first post, shoot targets, run to the next post, shoot targets, and continue on. So it's kind of to get the heart rate up a little bit. People always seem to love that stage. As far as stage design and course of fire design, we put a ton of work into that. So we kind of had all the stages pretty much picked out, what the theme would be, which target sizes we were going to use, what distances to have them at. And we kept like
rewriting it from scratch practically. Yes.
Trying to make it slightly easier, trying to bring things in a little bit so they're a bit
I wouldn't
less
say
panning.
easier. I would say it less overly complicated. Simplified, not easier, but simplified. There were a couple of overly complicated situations that
we've been known in the past to kind of have matches that are a little bit too much, on the mental side, and people are scoring a little lower than we'd want them to. So like, I was banging my head into the table so hard, like, come on, you can do it. Just make the target a little bit bigger. And I worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And then one day, like in my mind, it just like clicked, and I'm like, oh, okay, so just use this size target. And anyway, the way that things worked out, the average score in the match was like 68% of available impacts, which is a pretty good number. I mean, we usually shoot for a little lower than that, but that's not bad. Can you pull up that spreadsheet on here?
Okay, we're pulling up spreadsheets, people. Which one?
Yeah,
this one. Okay.
So out of the 22 stages, there were 3 stages that were probably a little on the easy side, where the average score was over 80%. And there were, like 30% of the people that cleaned it.
What percent would you like to see?
Probably like 15, like 10 to 15 in a
10
match
to 15%
cleans.
Okay, but how about what's the average score that you'd aim for?
Like 70.
Okay, so a little bit higher. Got it.
Yep. But of those 3 stages that were on the easy side, 2 of those were the timed stages. So our goal with the timed stage is for almost everybody to finish the stage and not time out, because we want everybody to have that tiebreaker point value. Because I mean, people everywhere in the spectrum still want to have tiebreakers to go down the line. So I think the 2 tiebreaker stages, 95% finished on the MPS prop, and then 90% finished on the pyramid prop. So those were good numbers. And then there were 2 stages that were too hard. So on one, the average was 42, and the other one, the average was 49. One was everyone's favorite with unsupported in it.
Yes,
so
everybody loves to shoot unsupported. We've learned from this match that everyone loves it. It's the best.
The other was a prop that had 11 ports in it, and it was kind of like torture watching people shoot that. I kind of feel bad. Nobody cleaned either one of those 2, so they were too hard. But otherwise, the grand average was like right where we want it, a little on the higher side. But we haven't heard anyone complain yet that the match was too easy. So I think we nailed that part of it.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any questions on target sizes we used or things like that, feel free to reach out. We'll probably be maybe add this to the match director handbook as an example of a course of fire, the target sheets that we came up with.
And then Todd asked details what stages. So Todd, just so you know, we're gonna kick off a podcast series hopefully in the near future on the MPS site, and we want to get into like stage by stage breakdown, and we want to put up like the histograms of the scores and all that stuff and talk more in detail. I told Justin on this particular one he wasn't allowed to get that far in the weeds, so we'll do it when we can actually show the graphs and things, and you guys can see more of the specifics directly, for sure. Yeah. So how about them targets? How about them target failures, Justin? What was it you said before the match?
I might have said close to no target failures, something
Close
like
to no target failures. So Justin says there will be 0 target failures at this match. What happened?
We had a couple. So the first thing that happened was in the RO match, we had a target that came off the hook. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. So we started toying with running our target stands backwards, so the hook is facing rearward. It's actually kind of a cool concept that goes along with our new side mounts for the hooks. But a target came off the hook. So,
And the KYL racks. Goes with
yeah,
that
the
too.
KYL racks that we just released are the same things. The hooks are facing backwards. So after we saw that on that Thursday, we utilized a hole that we have in the hook, and we just kind of like put a bolt through there with a nut. It's like a keeper. Like, now there's no way the thing can come off. I guess, we weren't sure that we needed that, but after that happened, so we started using those. We put those on the KYL rack as well. So other than that, in the main match, we had a KYL rack that was like the pipe style KYL rack that everybody's used to seeing. And we use shaft collars to kind of keep things in place. And those, kind of came loose and the targets started getting close together. So we had to go cold to tighten those back up. But as far as, our standard targets and hangers, we had no issues. We also released some new T-post hangers, and those did really well. So for the most part, it was freaking awesome. There were 45,000 impacts, and we had those 2 issues. So I think it was pretty good.
And we lost a canopy at one point, which I am told but haven't seen yet on the Shooter's Mindset. So someone tell me what day and time stamp it was, because I was in the event hall working on stuff for the finale, and I heard the radio say we got to go cold on these stages, and I thought, dang it, Justin, another target failure. And then I waited and I listened, and then I heard, okay, you can go get your canopy now. We're cold. So that was pretty funny.
I've got a note here that says food.
Okay, so let's talk about food. We heard the people speak, and the people feel like the chicken Caesar wraps were lacking in the chicken. And I will say, I also felt that the chicken Caesar wraps were lacking in the chicken. So the intent was for there to be chicken in the chicken Caesar wraps. I don't know what happened exactly, but it's being addressed for future reference. The goal was not to feed you all lettuce wraps. I promise you that. And in the future, we will be more mindful of how specific we are with lunch instructions.
Otherwise, we had lunch both days, obviously, served to the squads at around 11. On Saturday night, we had a barbecue. It was Wisconsin-made brats. That was really good.
And Jason Jurish, one of our volunteer ROs, took the time to cook all of the brats for us. And then Julie and Doyle are also my heroes on Saturday because they put everything together. So we bought a bunch of stuff. Susie and I went to Costco and we bought 800 buns for the brats, which I can tell you takes up a lot more space than I thought in my head.
We were like, we're not going to run out. Just get 2 each. And it turns out we had a whole bunch extra, but better than the alternative.
Right, exactly. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got to stop calling Saturday a barbecue. So someone said that it was misleading to call it a barbecue. That's just what we call anytime we grill on something on a barbecue grill. We just call it barbecue. I don't know. We've done it my whole life. So my fault. I did not mean to miscommunicate to you all. The beer brats, the Wisconsin beer brats.
And then on Sunday, there was a banquet and we had food there. That turned out really well. It was catered in and there was enough for everybody. So that's always good to have.
Right. I was glad. We wanted to make sure that we did not run out of food. I think Saturday, we ordered an extra 25 meals on top of what was actually ordered. And somehow we ran out at one point in time. I think they were hiding somewhere, or maybe Shane Scott, because he got all the chicken in his wrap apparently. Maybe Shane was also hiding all the extra lunches. It's just, we made it work. There are a couple little mishaps, some dietary restrictions that were overlooked, which I would take responsibility for. So appreciate the patience on that as well. And we've learned a lot about putting on events for 400 plus people from that experience.
Let's talk about safety, everyone's favorite part about the match. So in this match, we actually enforced the flagging rule. So we told everybody, like, if you accidentally put your pinky finger in front of the muzzle, it's a match DQ, which I think most people are kind of used to hearing, but I don't think people are used to actually it being taken like literally like super serious.
So we've always had that rule at our matches. And it's always been a match DQ if you flag yourself or someone else. That's just how it is. That being said, we saw you know, in Italy, we were very concerned about the rules and the safety rules, and then we saw them not really being enforced, and we saw different types of cases and people suitcase carrying with like just, you know, areas wrapped around there, and basically, you know, I had a lot of questions about why were we being so strict. So if it's in a case, or if the bolt is removed, or when you're cleaning the gun, all those things, I completely respect everyone's opinions about that. The trouble was we didn't have enough time to address every possible scenario in every possible way, in a way that we felt like was protecting everyone involved, including the range, who has never hosted a rifle match before. So this is the first rifle match at this range. We have probably the most kids that I've ever seen at a rifle match before. We have a variety of people and variety of experience levels with firearms. I think the people who were most concerned about the rule were people who are very familiar with firearms and comfortable with them. It's just hard to have a single simple rule that everyone can follow and understand easily. So that's why it was extreme, where it was so black and white. It just had to be black and white because we'd rather be overly cautious than have something happen. And yes, someone did in fact shoot their bipod.
Yeah. So my I guess what I learned from this match about this flagging rule is, I guess I kind of knew, but I really realized that if a person doesn't have like really solid muzzle discipline, like built into their subconscious, like movements and behavior, then they're just a ticking time bomb at a match like this, because sometimes you lose your conscious faculties because you're in the heat of the moment. There's something going on. It's a high stress moment. And then you're just going to resort back to the muscle memory that you have built in. So, you know, if you're the type of person that sets your gun on the ground, you know, like stock down, holding the muzzle, and you're not super careful about your hand or your head, and you do that often, then it's just a matter of time before that happens in a match like this. So I think, just to let you all know, the next match we host, it's going to be the same thing. So we're going to give you a homework assignment here. If you plan on coming to our matches ever again, please do some micro drills at home and just pretend there's a laser coming out of the barrel. Like, point it downrange in your house. Like, move your body side, you know, like changing directions, but leaving the muzzle pointed downrange. You know, come in and out of ports like this instead of, you know, things like that. Just keep your hand away from the muzzle. If you're using, you know, muzzle seals for your cold bore shot, you know, just practice keeping your thumbs away from the bore.
Right. And I think, you know, Justin and I are very passionate about the sport, passionate about newer people to the sport and growing it and all that stuff. I think I spend way too much time and effort and mental space in my brain for the sport to just let some stupid incident kind of ruin it for a lot of the goals that we're seeking, which is, you know, that growth and the safety thing is just a big thing. So I think it's the best way for us to keep this thing going forward and not bring bad press to the sport that we all enjoy so much.
And then I've got the last thing that says prize table walk order. We've talked about that a little bit, but what else did we have on that?
So lessons learned. The prize table will be set up regardless of where the beautiful photo backdrop will be, from highest dollar value to lowest dollar value for the most part. That being said, it's an approximation, just to level set, because I found that the more we say that we'll do, the more we might potentially miss and people will be upset about. So the intent is to go from more expensive to less expensive.
And then also, I guess we're going to add a rule that if someone has a prize in their hands, that's theirs. It's out of play.
Yep, exactly.
And also, we will be doing our best at every single match to have the prize table walk order predetermined, posted on the match description page, so you can read through that and decide if you like that or not before you pay money to go to the match.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing. That's just a huge lesson also, is that when people have some sort of expectation and then something else happens, then there's just chances for them to, you know, have their hopes let down. So
Yep, exactly. I totally agree. So we try really hard to at least communicate what to expect at our matches. That being said, there's a lot that goes into these things, and it's really easy to miss little details. So you know, you guys can cut your match directors a break. This is not an easy job by any means. So I mean, you can read us the riot act. That's fine, but like, give everyone else a break.
Give us the feedback, though.
Yeah, give us the feedback. We like the feedback. We like the feedback. It's good.
Our goal is to, even though people say it's impossible, is to make everybody happy. I know, like, but I seriously think it's doable. I mean, I think in this match, I'm just going to guess we probably hit 95% of the people, hopefully, and I think we can just keep bumping the number up as we go. So without the feedback, we can't increase that number. So please give us the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, we have actually, so there's a group chat for our range officers that we use to communicate on the day of, and we have that chat. They kicked us out of it so that they could address things internally without us needing to be bothered unless we really needed to be, which I thought was funny, and I also appreciated. But they added us back to it after the match, and that conversation is still ongoing with the ROs, and it's been really cool to be a part of that conversation and listen to their feedback, their observations. You know, what each of them saw was different than what we saw. It felt to me a lot like a wedding or like a graduation party or something, where you're talking to people, but you're having so many different conversations and there's so much going on and you have to be over here and over there. It was difficult to really get to sit and experience a lot. And it was really cool to get to re-experience that both through the photos and the videos and the live coverage, stories from shooters, and then also this RO chat was really pretty cool. It's really neat to have so many people who volunteered for this event and are so invested in the sport that they're continuing the conversation on what we could do differently next time. That's pretty remarkable. I got a little choked up on my drive home on Sunday, thinking about the people that we had supporting us for the match. And I was thinking, like, if I wasn't so tired, I'd probably be crying with appreciation right now about it, because it was just a very humbling experience for me to have people take on something that we signed up for it, right? We're the ones who committed to it. And then we have all these other people who came out and made sure that it was a success. That was pretty cool experience. I don't think I have anything else in my life that's compared to that.
The photos, there was so many good photos.
Yes. Tim Ho and Brandon Antoine, they took some amazing photos. So the photos posted on the Midwest Precision page. I'm about to post some from Jason Jurish, because in addition to feeding our range officers and keeping them full so that they've made sure to call your impacts properly, he did get around and take some photos as well. So I'll get those posted. Stage and squad photos went up yesterday. I posted my photos, which were like 30 photos I think I got to take the whole weekend. But those got posted too. And it's really fun to go through and see those, and like, especially the fun that people are having. That's what I really enjoy.
Yep, it seems like that RO range officer recipe is working really well. So just to recap on that, if you want to put on a big match and you want to get range officers, what we do is we just try to make sure to communicate well with them before the match. We offer them their own match the day before. So in this case, it was the Thursday. So we did like a 2-hour classroom with them to kind of get them up to speed. Then they all went out. They got to shoot their own 12-stage match for score with squatting, practice score, all that. So for one, it trained them in on the stages. It got them used to running the process that we wanted them to use, so that they're all running consistent. And then for two, like I said, it gave them a chance to shoot an actual match.
Yeah. So it's each match is going to be a little bit different in terms of how the match directors want to run things. So that class is for, like, I call it the MPS way of ROing. Like it's just Justin and I, how we want things to run for our particular match based on the way we've designed it. And so we've had a ton of really experienced shooters, world champions included, and some people who've RO'd many times, many different matches. So it's not like we have to train them in because they don't know what they're doing. It's just basically on some of the nuances of this particular course of fire or the way that we want to run things, so that you guys have the best possible experience. Just to clarify.
Consistency between stages so that the shooter doesn't get, one RO that's kind of like running things differently than another and catches them off guard. So yeah, they shot their own match, and then after the match on Thursday, they came back and we had food for them, like their own banquet and a prize table and an award ceremony that ran really smooth. So that's a really good way to do the RO incentivizing.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, the NRL announced that now that is going to count as an X match for those RO scores. So like that's like the cherry on top. That last thing I think is what was missing. So now there's actual true incentive to get, top notch shooters to RO at least one match a year. And then the last thing is to thank them, just to let them know how appreciative you are of having them there. I think that's the most important thing.
Right.
They want to feel like their commitment is worth it to you.
And at our other large matches, I've always had help, in terms of range officers, but like this was a whole different level of support for things that I didn't even know I needed help with. I didn't even remember all the things that I needed to remember at this match. I can't tell you guys how stressful it was Tuesday and Wednesday leading up to the match, and then Thursday as well, and then trying to get the RO class and the RO match going and building practice score and all those things. If I had not had the help of this group of people that was willing to pitch in extra, just stuff would not have happened. It would not have been as smooth as it was. Harmony is real. Everyone wants to know what you guys will do with all that extra space in your house now. Yeah, I think get organized. That's on my list. We need a bigger house before we can host a match like this again.
Mitch and Amy will have their dry fire space back now.
Yeah, eventually. We haven't brought all the stuff home for Mitch and Amy, so thank you, Mitch and Amy, for storing our stuff for longer even than the 9 months that you already were storing it. Yeah. Yes, I like that. Jen says we need shirts. The RO Army is real. That's awesome. Yeah. And Trenton was sitting there with me. I don't know if it was probably Friday night and Saturday night when it was like dark outside already. And this is the summer solstice. So it was already after 10 p.m. It must have been. And he's like, do you need anything else? And this is the first time I think in my life when someone's asked me, do I need anything? And I did not say no. Like, I don't know if I said no to anyone all weekend. Do you need anything? I came up with something for people to do because there was so much to do. So I super appreciate, people like that just running around. Randy wants to know if photos have been posted by the NRL. Not yet. And I know that our photographers have some photos from the awards. I don't know exactly what they have yet, but they're still working on those. They had to get back to their day jobs too, that actually pay them like I did. So I think it's taken them a little longer to get those up. But yeah, we will post those on our page as soon as we have them. And then NRL22 hired a professional photographer who was running around doing video and photography. So I'm assuming that once she's done with those edits, she'll post those too.
Oh yeah, I think one person we forgot to thank. That's the shooters.
Yes.
Thank you for coming, everybody, and thank you for bearing with our strict safety rules.
And having positive attitudes about the weather.
That was such a cool match.
Yeah.
Like, I just walk around the stages. Everyone was having so much fun. Thank you for keeping the match flowing. We were trying to keep things moving because we had so many people to get through. So you guys got done in a really good amount of time. Everything ran really smoothly because of the range officers and because of you. So
we'll be up in coming days. Thanks, Brandon. Brandon says he's working on them. And then Brad Herman said that Sarah's the name of the photographer from the NRL22. She'll have hers. It's going to take her a couple weeks to process her photos. It's and yes, we need a truck. We need a truck and a real trailer. Our cute little trailer. It did make it, Dirk, but only because Mitch and Amy put 90% of the stuff at their house instead of making us drive it home.
It was full of all the steel on the way home.
Yeah.
Pulling it with my little red car.
Last year.
Oh, last year.
Yeah. And then we blew a tire. That was
an
adventure. The guys from Utah came and saved you because I was so tired and annoyed. They let me go to bed and then they stayed up all night and flew home early the next morning. That was pretty funny. yeah, there's photos of that for people who want to scroll back on the MPS timeline of the cute little trailer that we have to try and do this. I know, Hannah, I tell Justin that all the time, by the way, that we should have taken Hannah up on that. Yes, I had one more thing with the match flow and the shooters. So we had this calculator to calculate what time people would be done based on our previous matches and timing it. I learned that maybe this is a 2-day match thing, or maybe it's just this group of shooters thing. The second day went way quicker than the first. So I don't know if you all were just like on top of it and ready and knew what you were doing. That's a per stage time, not, I know we shot 2 less stages, but per stage, you guys took a lot less time, which was really interesting. So we're going to have to, refigure our calculation.
I already did that.
Oh, Justin already did it. Okay, cool.
If anyone wants to know, here it is, grab a pencil. If you want to calculate how long your match will take the number, and if it's going to run like this one ran at the same pace, take the number 2.25 minutes plus your par time, and then take that value, multiply it by the number of stages, and then multiply that by the number of shooters on your single largest squad. And that's how many minutes your match will take. And we got within probably 15 minutes on that. So
on the first day or the second day, both?
Kind of both.
Kind of both. Okay. We just forgot to calculate it properly for the second day for the food. Sorry. The food was intended for it to be done by the time you guys were done shooting, kind of like it was on Saturday, so that as you got done shooting, go get your food and then sit down and chit chat, and then not have that big, long, bogged down line. But unfortunately, we told the caterer the wrong time because we added a few extra people, so we shifted things around, and it's probably my fault. I'm sure it was me that miscalculated. I had not enough brain cells.
I think what happened was some of the stages were done really early, and like the last few squads, they tend to lag a little bit. And I think the difference between the first and the last was quite a bit, like an hour or something like that. So that's kind of where it seemed like the people that were there right away were kind of waiting for a while. And we should have started serving a lot earlier because the whole serving process takes like over an hour. So we could have started that.
Yeah, we just didn't have, so the caterer didn't get there at that time was the issue. So we communicated to the caterer the wrong time to be there.
Yeah.
So that's another lesson learned. Hopefully people didn't starve. We served lunch, and I think that was like a substantial lunch. I heard a lot of good things about that one. So never trust an engineer's math. You guys cracked me up. Yeah.
That's Joe Knapp. He was the guy that made that 11 seasons prop for me.
Ouch.
I designed it. I asked him to please make it. He just shook his head and said, okay, I'll make it. So we have to give him credit, and then all the blame goes on me.
Yeah, Joe's made some other props for us in the past as well, including the original. Did he make the original pyramid? What? The nap sticks.
The nap sticks he made.
Paint traps, yeah.
He's got some clever, creative stuff.
Yeah.
What is the not so T-post, I guess, is a popular one he came out with. So I think it's is it a pipe? Joe, I forget what it is. I haven't seen it yet. I've heard about it, but It sounds like it's kind of spreading around to some of the clubs around here.
Nice. Well, now we got to share a picture of it.
A portable T-post is basically what it is.
Oh, nice. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So thank you, Joe, for your help torturing the shooters. Awesome. You guys are excellent. Oh yeah, Tyler didn't get a break because everyone was ready the whole time. That's awesome. Nicely done, people. You guys are having 270 shooters. I mean, that's pretty. 13-person squads. I was worried that it was going to be a challenge, and you guys just stayed on top of it, which was awesome. Nice. Okay, Hannah, I will try to be there in July to shoot that match. I haven't shot a match since I shot the Rimfire Revival this year, and other than that, I didn't get out to shoot any matches, so I'm excited. I'm excited to get back out and shoot some. And I owe Kurt Webster some cotton candy because I told him there would be cotton candy.
You told everybody that.
I did. Okay, but it was really wet in my defense. It was really wet. Like it would have just melted.
We did so many things. We kept saying, why are we doing that too? How really? We thought we were going to get that done too? And we'd get it done.
That was me. That was me saying that.
Yeah,
like, really? Let's. Why sign up for that too? So anyway, what else do you guys have for us? What did we miss? What haven't we talked about yet? Oh, you know what? Here's one thing. Shooter's Mindset came out. And they flew up from Georgia, and they don't make money doing this job. I'm just, they spend sometimes personal money to cover their expenses to come cover these matches and then live stream them, which is a huge value to sponsors because of the visibility that gets for them. And it's also great for shooters because it's getting more people exposed to the sport, like live right there. See it. I get to go rewatch the match if I want to later, which is pretty cool and not something that a lot of people have at their matches. I think this is one of the first 22 matches they've done. They did cover Worlds in Italy, but I was really grateful to have them fly up. I consider those folks my friends, and I think that having engagement from media like this and having this live coverage and other types of video coverage is really going to help the sport expand and grow. So I know that there were a couple of things with that we learned. One is that we're going to have a specific area of the firing line for rifles every time. We've done that in the past and we didn't this time. It made it a little bit difficult to get coverage for some people and also stay out of the way of the shooters. That's on us. But we really appreciate Shooter's Mindset coming out and covering the match.
Yep, we're adding that to our match director handbook. Basically, kind of a recommended map of how we recommend building the firing line. So you have the prop, where does the RO set up? How far back are they? Starting position, on deck area, and then media person area.
Yeah, for sure. So I think, that's something that we could definitely learn from. Yeah, those guys are awesome.
One last thing that I forgot to mention about the prize table walk order, the way that we're announcing it over a microphone works fine when there's like 30 or 40 people, but when we're switching up the prize table walk order and you guys have no idea whose name is coming next, we understand like that was probably pretty tough because you're probably sitting there listening and you're wondering like, can I go to the bathroom right now or do I have to sit and wait for my name? Or did they already call my name? Did I miss it? So from now on, if it's going to be like a weird order, we will put it up on a projector screen so that you can walk up there and you can see where your name's at and know where you're at in line. Preferably, it'd be nice to have, that's what's so nice about walking top to bottom is people can pull up practice score on their phone and they can see where their name's at. They know where they're at on the walk order. So that would be one nice thing about that. But yeah, we will work on that next time so there's a visible way for you to see where your name's at.
Maybe we should just have it on social media so people have it right in front of them.
There you go.
We'll be streaming it too at the same time. No, we would need internet for that. Let's just do the internet thing too. Add that to the list.
Add to the list.
Awesome. Yeah, you need to supply hip waders for people going out to the 240-yard targets. Yeah, it was a little damp out there in that field, but the firing line stayed pretty dry, which was pretty cool.
It was.
I was very grateful for that.
Yeah, a little more about the range. So it was called Coiland Creek. It's in Wisconsin, and it's a sporting clays range. So they've had, I think it's been open for like 20 years now. They've had a ton of clays matches there, but they've had 0 rifle matches or pistol or anything other than clays. So this was the first time we've ever shot, or there's ever been a 22 match there. So we had to do a few things to make it work, but it just worked really well. There's some cow pastures we were basically shooting in, and there's some woods in the middle. So there's like they've got like the cart paths through the woods where they shoot clays from. So it was really cool in a lot of ways like that. It was just something unique. I think people were pretty impressed by that, by the layout. Then they have like a beautiful facility, like the banquet area. It's like a wedding venue. So there's just this beautiful pond where we put the podium right in front of the pond, and we got pictures of all the shooters, the class winners up on the podium. And there's like a bar on site, and there's the range officer bunkhouse was right on site.
That was pretty cool.
They have a store on site called Shotgun Willie's where they have a bunch of product, like a bunch of reloading powders and
Tons
stuff.
of reloading stuff. It was crazy.
So yeah, there's a camping area right on site, and it was just
Yeah, camping was pretty cool too. It was neat to see how many people were camping. That camping space was full up. That was cool.
yeah, for all the range officers that were there 4 nights, it was like a party. It was fun.
Yeah, a little too much of a party the first night I heard, but much better after Saturday I heard as well.
Once everyone was too tired to party.
Right, exactly, yeah. Well, and also might have mentioned like, hey, we got shooters that are camping too, so keep it down. But I was told that they were very nice and polite. So yeah, the coiling crew was also really helpful. They were running around keeping coolers full and delivering lunches, you know. It was pretty cool to have people from the venue you know, equally concerned about the success of our event and really willing to put in extra. Like, we ran out of ketchup on Saturday. I didn't buy enough ketchup, people. It's my fault again. All the things I forgot.
But all the things that went well too.
Right. Well, so then Coiling just like went and grabbed some ketchup from their restaurant and, you know, refilled it for us and all that stuff. And there's a lot of little things
They were
like
awesome.
that. They were really helpful.
Really good to work with.
Yeah.
During setup, they were like, okay, what else?
Yep.
And then I'd say, can we get that done? Okay, what else?
Right.
So that was awesome.
Yeah, it was a really neat venue. So yeah, we're pretty happy with how everything turned out and glad to hear so many positive stories and positive experiences people had. It'd be, you know, really excited. Sorry, now I'm distracted because there's a dog that's wandering around. He's up to no good. It'll be really fun to take a little bit of a break from hosting for a while and think about some other stuff, you know, document the lessons learned, and then kind of, you know, get the targets going with the target business and get caught up on that. Probably get caught up on my day job and start shooting again. It'll be nice. So I'm looking forward to break. Justin's looking forward to writing down all the things that we could do next time. Yeah. What about you? What else do you want to say about it?
I gotta learn how to become a shooter again one of these days. There's a match in Parma, Idaho coming up next month that I gotta get ready for, so gotta figure that whole thing out again.
Yeah. One of these days we'll be shooters again. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So for those who did order targets, we're hoping to get those shipped out next week. Once they're all compiled.
Yeah, thank you for your orders.
Yeah, appreciate that. You'll have to. We look forward to hearing feedback on the targets and how they're working out for you too. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that concludes our live recap here. Like I mentioned, we're going to do a podcast, so we'll have some different topic areas, and I think one of the topics we'll have is like a stage by stage course of fire breakdown from nationals, and we can talk about, you know, target sizes and the thought process behind it kind of a little bit to kind of pull the curtain back on how the stage design happened, or at least some of it. And then we'll publish that on the website as well, and we'll share that here. So stay tuned, I guess, and keep up with all the positivity. I really love this community, and I love that people are so there for each other and that we're all kind of in this together accomplishing great things. So looking forward to talking to you all soon, and maybe I'll even see you at the range one of these days.
See you guys.